I rarely make videos like this, but I think this time it's absolutely warranted. I'm going to comment the comments. So we're going to look at prior videos made on this channel, and I want to analyze the psychology that a lot of the viewers have in this current market environment. Because I believe there is a real shift happening, and that shift does confirm me in my beliefs where the market is headed. And it's not that pretty, to be honest. So let's look at the last Bitcoin video first. This was the thumbnail. It's over. The title was, "This is not pretty, Bitcoin price prediction 2024. And fundamentally, I didn't see the video to be actually that polarizing. It was rather technical. I looked at deltas between moving averages historically, and we could see that over the very long term, the Bitcoin price rallies tend to be more and more muted. As in, the difference between the price and the moving average tended to decline. But this is not what I want to talk about in this video. In this video, I want to talk about the comments. Because rarely do I see the comments being that opinionated. Let's zoom in here. Bear market, laughing emoji, get a grip, with 14 likes actually. We are in a bear market, bro. A couple of weeks ago, US shilling Matic. Now we are in a bear market, nice. And yes, I used to be bullish on Matic, at least on the relative valuation of Matic to Ethereum. Matic relative to ETH simply just went flat since then. But right now in this current market environment, I rather short the altcoins. I don't buy any alts, I simply bet on falling prices of altcoins that tend to expand very quickly in supply. So where the supply grows faster and faster, the demand can't catch up, and that then leads to long-term declining prices. Here's just a bot comment, we can forget about that. And I will focus on the bullish comments here, right? So on the comments where people strongly believe in further rising prices, I will skip comments like this one. Finally, someone who is not encouraging to gamble against reality. So it's not everybody that's bullish here, right? But I do see a lot of disagreement, way more disagreement than I usually get on this channel. And that's why I make this video. Let's continue with the interesting comments. Wasn't it you who said, do not trust waves on the chart, follow the smart money? We exactly know who sells a lot of Bitcoin at the moment and why. Come on. Yes, of course, we do know who's selling, right? It's the German government that's selling. It's also the Mt. Gox creditors that are selling. So we know where the selling is coming from. Unfortunately, we don't see a lot of buying at the same time, and that obviously depresses the price. The Bitcoin ETF, for example, doesn't see any more inflows already for the last 2 months roughly. We also don't see how the stablecoin market cap is increasing over time, which would indicate that fiat currency is flowing into crypto. We don't see those kind of things. And when there's no real positive momentum, when the best moving average in Bitcoin, the 120-day simple moving average, tells us to rather get out, then that's what I'm doing. I'm getting out. This will age super badly. 4 thumbs up, and have a look at the replies. Obviously, this video is strategically uploaded at this time. If he ends up correct, he'll be referring back to this video like he's a crypto prophet. If he's wrong, he will simply brush it off saying he was being careful. You see, he never loses in this influencer game. And a reply to that, I've watched quite a few crypto influencers, and this guy seems to be the only one who knows what he's talking about. I don't want him to be right either. Here I'm breaking even after crypto bull market again. Now, if my target is to simply just look good on YouTube, then I would actually not make a bearish video like this. Because when I deliver a message most people do not want to hear, what usually happens is that people give thumbs down, that people unsubscribe, that people simply get away. And that obviously is bad for the YouTube algorithm. If I was to say that Bitcoin is going to 100K tomorrow, everybody will get super excited, and the tendency would be that I'd get more subscribers, etc. That's why you see so much bullishness on YouTube. It's not necessarily because the majority of YouTubers is bullish, it's because the YouTubers that are bullish get more likes, thus more exposure by YouTube. And so let me show you what I mean in the analytics. Let's go to the analytics of exactly that video. This video actually lost me subscribers. It didn't get me any subscribers. And we look at the engagement. That video got me 88.7% likes, less than the average on this channel. Being bearish or trying to be neutral is not rewarded by YouTube. The reason why I do it anyways is because I believe that a minority might look at the data more closely and then act accordingly, and then potentially trust me more in the long term. I'm not playing this game just for the next year or two. I'm in it for the very long term. And so that's why you don't see me taking any money from any crypto project or from any centralized exchange, etc. I try to be as objective objective as possible. I share my opinion and I have sold out of the market. I am now betting on falling prices. And I've also shared this within the premium membership, right? I've shared this within premium, and some people have been able to get out early enough, and some people are now also making money from those falling prices. So I am putting my money where my mouth is. People can say the exact transactions in premium as well. It's not to get popularity on YouTube. As said, being bearish is not rewarded on YouTube. Unfortunately, it's not neutrality that gets most clicks. Let's go on. Let's see an interesting comment. Bear question mark, what are you smoking? With 12 likes. It's interesting how the most polarizing comments also get the most likes. Let's see the replies. A bot reply and another confirmation, you are going to get liquidated. What I find interesting about those comments is that very rarely the reason has been stated why the price should continue to go up, because the average cost basis is of course much lower than the current price, so most people are in profit. Should now the additional demand come from the Bitcoin ETF? Should it come from institutional investors? Who is pushing up the price further? And so this is maybe a discussion we can have below this video. If you've got some data that strongly suggests that the price should rise from here, the Bitcoin price, then please post this down below. Maybe post a link to the data, then we can actually discuss this. Maybe there is something that I'm really overlooking, and I'm very much open to discuss data that's counter the bearish thesis. I'm very much a fan of having a data-driven approach. So if you've got a back test that suggests we should be further rising from here, or if you've got some kind of on-chain metrics that suggest that there's going to be more inflows, then please share this, right? I want to discuss those kind of things. Let's continue with more bullish comments. Again, I'm selecting here, right? Not everybody was bullish. We've got FUD over here. We've got there's no way. Bull market did not happen yet. LOL. It definitely happened, especially in the meme coins. Many people made more than 10x's. I'm pretty sure you know nothing, right? Nothing but an insult over here with 12 likes. 100%, another bot comment, this post will get old fast. That's rubbish. I thought you were better than that. We are still in a bull market. The market makers are scaring out retail to buy the ETF, etc. This will probably be the last big dip before the bull really kicks off. When we get into severe fear index is when you buy everything. We are getting closer. I like this comment actually more than the other comments because there are some arguments here, right? We can look at those arguments and I can present the data that I've got against these kinds of arguments. The tone isn't that nice, but at least we've got some arguments to work with. So let's start off with the ETF. The market makers are scaring out retail to buy the ETF. Now in the last 14 days, the Bitcoin ETFs rather distributed. So there was an outflow from the ETF, annualized 0.7%. When we look at this more longer term, and we just look at the net flow, so we make this a bit simpler, this chart, we can see definitely that at the beginning there was mainly inflows. So the Bitcoin ETF did scoop up quite a bit of Bitcoin. But since the middle of March, we are pretty much hovering around the zero line. So some days we see inflows, some days we see outflows. We don't really see any more net purchasing. Here's the supply over time held by the Bitcoin ETFs. It was at 1.07% of all of supply in the ETFs. Now it's slightly higher at 1.26%. It grew by 0.2% over the span of 4 months roughly. 0.2% over 4 months. Is this really going to move the market that much? Probably not, right? The long-term holders are actually dictating the price. So when we look at the balance of the long-term holders, then we see all those kinds of waves that are way larger than just 0.2, 0.8%, those kinds of magnitudes. But again, if you've got other data, then feel free to share this, right? I'm very open to discussing this. And so I want to talk about one more comment on this video, and then we continue. The bullishness of the comments kind of suggest he may be right. We still have 2.5 years left of this cycle after all. The big rally may come when everybody has panic sold like in 2020. I personally do not believe too much in the cycle theory. I simply just look at what are the long-term holders doing, right? If you're following this channel, you know that I like the realized price metric. You know that I like the market value to realized value Z-score and the realized hodl ratio. Those kinds of indicators I believe are pretty good at timing the market. Just taking bluntly 4-year cycles, I believe is not going to cut it going forward. But I do agree with the sentiment of that last comment, right? I do agree that when there's too many people that are hyper bullish about something, then it is time to be scared, right? Be scared when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. Money is made when one is contrarian and at the same time right. Now it's way harder to sell the top than it is to buy the bottom, because when you're buying the bottom, there's simply apathy in the market. Nobody is looking at crypto. Actually, when you're buying the bottom and you make videos about buying the bottom, there's very few comments because it's only the hardcore diamond hands that continue to watch and that continue to buy. However, when we are at the end of a bull market cycle, people want the cycle to continue. Attention is very, very high on crypto. And at that point in time, being contrarian is much harder because that's then when you get all the backlash. Selling high is harder than buying low. And this psychological bias, right? This rose-tinted glass, this confirmation bias is stronger the weaker a rally potentially is, or the weaker an asset is. I want to show two assets that had some kind of Ponzi-nomics around them, right? So I don't want to compare now Bitcoin to those assets directly, but I want to look at this psychological effect, because the more hostile the comment section tends to be under a bearish video, the weaker probably the overall market situation is. Comments like this, I believe, don't show strength. They show the opposite. So let's have a look at two Ponzi schemes. One of them being Strong Block, published in November of 2021. The price was at $1,208 at the time. And of course, the price afterwards collapsed. This was in the end a Ponzi scheme, not like Bitcoin, by the way. Now the price is at $2.50. Again, from $1,200, so a complete destruction of capital. Let's have a look at the comments. You need to take a read of the AMAs to get a better understanding of Strong, so that was the token. Then I asked for a specific link and how my concerns could get resolved in them, and then I simply just get Google is your friend. David Moss, so that's the founder of that Ponzi, he has addressed all these concerns in his AMAs that he does every Saturday with 9 thumbs up. And so I asked for more details, and we have a bit of a technical discussion, so that's good. We are getting a bit into the tokenomics and have a disagreement about the price collapsing or not. And then it becomes a bit more quote-unquote hostile, right? Man, Bitcoin and all crypto shit working the same way. New pays old, grow up, vomit emoji. Then we'll continue over here. You seem like a smart guy, but this math is bad. Please recalculate and adjust the percent. You are misleading. Then I get into a bit more detail. You obviously have not done a deep enough dive on this project. It's funny to watch someone struggle to explain Strong Block. You didn't talk about the 20 projects they are onboarding right now, or the 60 projects they have waiting on the sidelines who want to get in. You obviously didn't do any research on how people are getting paid. Comparing Strong to BitConnect, that was another Ponzi scheme. I just want to slap you. You are not invested in this because you have no fucking clue what's really going on. So again, right? The stronger the language gets, the weaker the opinion normally is. It is that effect of confirmation bias. When we are invested in any asset, right, even in a solid asset, we want the asset to go up. And so we selectively search for information that confirms our belief. And the algorithms also compound that, right? When we click only on bullish videos, then the algorithm will only show us bullish videos, right? Or videos of influencers that are bullish on that certain topic. In other words, we filter, the algorithm filters, and we are in this opinion bubble. So we have to be very aware of this issue, right? When we get from bullish to neutral, then probably the situation right now is already bearish. Let's get into another Ponzi, Elephant Money. The video was published 9 months ago in October of 2023. That was over here, right? October of 2023. And since then, the price collapsed again. No surprise here. Not all of my videos age like this, right? This is not to show off, but I simply want to share this psychological effect, right? When you see these kind of comments under any video and they're hyper bullish and borderline insulting, then maybe the video creator is right. And that's also the reason, by the way, why a lot of YouTubers aren't bearish, right? The algorithm doesn't support it, but also the comments aren't that bullish. And so it's not really rewarding personally to talk bearish about any asset. At time of this writing, the wrapped BNB pool has seen a 9% reversal over the last 6 hours. I don't think this is a falling knife. There's a lot of new token holders who aren't as accustomed with the platform's mechanics and hence more vulnerable to panic. All the while, the Elephant Treasury collected well over 1 trillion tokens from taxes, and long-term holders saw a boost in reflections too. No chart can go up forever. There was bound to be a shakeout. at ... I'm not sure why this is cut off. So an interesting argument, right? We simply just zoom into the very, very short term. Not necessarily that valid when you talk about fundamentally how the tokenomics work. It sounds like someone doesn't understand the power of Bertha. So Bertha is just one of the tokenomics mechanics of that Ponzi scheme. Let's try to find Gerhard, you troll. And subsequently what happened is that a lot of Elephant Money supporters actually joined the Telegram group, the free Telegram group of Bitcoin Strategy. And some people got so enraged that there was even reaction videos on it. Check this out. Gerhard Bitcoin Strategy, stick to Bitcoin. And here in the thumbnail, I'm so cool, but I don't know jack about Elephant Money. Now, what do we learn from this? I believe it's hyper important that whenever we have bought something, to rather tend towards being pessimistic. When we are out of the market, we have a pretty neutral view on something. Once we buy something and we've got a stake in something, we should try to find the bearish news. We should try to find the exit opportunities. We should very much try to avoid this bubble, right? This opinion bubble. I don't have a crystal ball either. I do not know where Bitcoin is going. I simply use my models, my data, and I stick to that data in order to take away all of confirmation bias. And I believe it makes most sense to discuss the rules one might trade by, to discuss the models one might trade by. That makes way more sense to just discuss about the current situation. Because again, we all have our stakes in this, right? Everybody is talking their books to a degree. And so again, feel free to share your data why you are currently bullish on Bitcoin. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe as well. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. Down below, there's a link to the premium membership. It's thebitcoinstrader.com. This is where I share when I buy and sell and when I short assets, etc. Feel free to check it out. There's also an introductory video on that website. There's also a free Telegram. So in case your crypto portfolio isn't yet large enough, feel free to join the free Telegram. Looking very much forward to chatting with you. Cheers.